Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. Yesterday we shared a story about Monique's son Shalom making a TikTok video in which he revealed that he had an estranged relationship with his mother, and after sharing that she never really acted like a mother or wanted to be a mother, he said that Monique has not made any real attempts to salvage the relationship. And Monique and Sydney decided to respond, because you know, Monique and Sydney have an ethical and moral duty to respond. Source, can we please review the tape?
There was Instagram that was put up, or I guess
it was TikTok, baby.
TikTok that was put up by
my son, my oldest son, Shalom. And this is what I want to say to this. There are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it, and you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point, and I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother.
Come on, Sydney, stop. Because how are you going to sit over there and try to shame another man for borrowing money from his mother when you yourself had to borrow money from Kevin Hart? Yo, this dude's double talk and his double standards are crazy. And I can see how like Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Will Packard were like, yo, I can't with this dude. All right, let's get back to it.
These are the things that you're leaving out when you're expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying, believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being black human beings.
Can somebody please tell me how you have a private conversation amongst your community on YouTube? Listen, Sydney just be talking to hear himself talk. He's freaking Oswald Bates from In Living Color. I mean, do you guys remember Oswald Bates?
you have problems putting your words in a colostomy bag. That's why I've cremated this new program called Book on Phonics. I'll teach you how to testiculate my way.
You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. That makes us believe that we as black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far.
See, that right there makes me really wonder, what religion or spiritual practice are Monique and her husband into? Because what spiritual practice or belief teaches that you're going to judge yourself throughout infinity? If you know, let me know in the comments, because now I'm very interested.
So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are.
No, Sydney, this situation should have been Monique speaking directly to her son on the phone.
And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things will happen a little bit better.
Oh my goodness, you mean to tell me that if Sydney had his other phone on him, he was willing to expose the private phone call that like Monique's son had with them? I mean, how low can you go? But it's the same thing that they did to Tyler Perry. And here's the thing, if you're working in Hollywood and everybody knows that you and your husband are the type of people that record everything so that you can have some ammunition that you could throw back at them, then why would anybody in Hollywood want to work with you? See, a lot of Monique's inability to get gigs in Hollywood goes far beyond Tyler Perry saying that she was difficult to work with. All right, Sydney, continue.
You young man, because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversations, there will be less private angst.
Come on.
There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of white folks.
Oh my goodness. What in the hell does Monique having a private conversation with her son have to do with white folks, Sydney? See, I don't think that Sydney is a very good manager. What I think Sydney is very good at managing her. See, I tried to tell y'all the other day, but y'all were like, no, Sauce, don't you dare talk about Monique Luther King Jr. and her king like that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut. Okay, so back to what Sydney and Monique had to say.
So, when we get to a place where you want to be free, you will stop being scared to say what's real. You'll stop being fearful of having conversations that normally take place in private and nobody ever really knows the outcome. And from there, when you were saying earlier about how we're looking in front of white folks, When I do hear our brother Greg Mathis say, the studio is watching y'all and the executives are watching y'all, so what?
Alright, you can stop the tape right here, because for some reason, they start talking about Kevin Hart, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Judge Mathis, and like everybody else aside from the son. I mean, it was weird. Weird number one, because this really should have been a private familial conversation. And weird number two, because why are we still talking about Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry when like your son is crying out for help? Alright, so after watching that hot mess of a response, a lot of people were very turned off with Monique because they couldn't understand how she, as a grown behind woman, just sat there looking like a Stepford wife that had been taken hostage by Sydney, while he just sat there, or should I say Daddy just sat there, doing all the talking to her son. Check out how some people reacted on social media.
This right here is not a mother that feels bad. This right here is not a mother that cares. I believe him 100%. You know why? Because first of all, I don't give a damn how long you've been with your daddy or whoever this is to you. That's not my father, and I'm not talking to him. I'm talking to my mother. If you know that you've wronged me and we need to work on our relationship and I'm addressing something in response to what you said and I still don't feel that is true, I don't need your husband or your daddy getting up here insinuating that I'm mentally retarded while you sit up here next to this man and gallivanting as if this is some man, your husband, sticking by your side as the wife. This is not the time for you to be some meek, coy, timid, first lady-esque type bullshit. See, I'm tired of this performative act with black people. Everybody wants to be, the man is speaking up for the home. No, get your fat ass up and speak to your child. Why is he always speaking for you? Monique is a joke. Monique is trash. And quite frankly, I don't support her at all. I'm done. I cannot stand Monique after this. I did not realize she was a real life Precious movie. This is all a part of you guys' charade and your fantasy, your games. Monique is a joke. Sydney is a joke. Sydney doesn't like your kid, your son. He probably never did. He's happy that he's out the picture. And Monique, you're a weak woman. You sit up here, you try to be strong online, everybody else, as you play the victim. Monique is very weak and a disgrace.
Alright, so similar to Armand Wiggins, mad people were like, yo, who's this like quiet, meek Monique? Because this isn't the same chick who was telling people to suck her online the other night.
Tyler Perry said, I have to give him and Oprah Winfrey a public apology. And I'm going to give it right now tonight in front of you in Albany, New York. Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, I want to apologize for telling y'all to suck my
Yeah, okay. So let's continue on with the responses.
Well, baby, if you are Monique, you have literally proved that you ain't ish, and neither is that deadbeat. Well, he's not the deadbeat, you are. Y'all, Monique got exposed as a deadbeat by her firstborn son. But he exposed a lot of things, okay? And a lot of people didn't know what to feel. But Monique has responded. And Monique has let us know that the way we all felt, which I hope was dismayed, disgusted, shocked, and just appalled. We were right to feel that way. Monique is dead wrong. But she's gaslighting. Baby, don't come in here. If you're agreeing with what Monique said, you might as well just click out this video yet. Because, baby, we don't defend deadbeat parents on this channel.
Okay, Unbothered family. So Monique's eldest son came out and went in on her. And he was not feeling what his mother had to say on Club Shay Shay. I am a woman who's had to cut off her mother. So when I tell you this man's story triggered me to like the 25th power, it truly brought me back in time. It takes a lot for your child to not want to deal with you. I don't care what you say. I don't care what Monique says. It takes a lot for your own child to disown you. This baby, I'm sorry, I call everybody a baby, right? I call everybody a baby. I'll be 44 on the 22nd, but I call everybody a baby. This baby just had, the way he was speaking, you can tell he was done. He had been done. He had nothing going on with this woman. And the interesting thing is, when it comes down to Monique, I need to find out which one of the people that she talks about and calls out had their children completely disown them. That, y'all don't understand what I'm saying. You do not understand what I am saying to you. As a woman who has had to disown and discommunicate from her own mother, as an incest survivor from a very toxic family, for someone to disown their mother, there is some trifling things going on underneath the surface that this baby probably doesn't even have the strength to really say. All he did was respond to his mother and shut down the rumors that she was speaking of. And even with that being said, you can still tell that this young man was holding some things back. I know, based upon the look in that man's eyes, if he really wanted to completely destroy Monique with the information that he had on her, he could. He's holding back. And I know y'all think he went in. No, he just tipped it off. He did not go in. That baby is holding some things back that is too painful for him. And you can even tell when you listen to this man speak, he is holding back tears. Now, Monique, there was a time where I really, really respected you. I truly did. And this is not one of those damn times. Because there is no excuse for your child disowning you and you not trying to make something right. That man was held in your stomach for at least 9 months. At least. Maybe you're a demon too. Maybe that's why you're still alive and not cloned. But something is going on with you. And until this is cleared up, all respect for you is lost. Because like I said, I'm an incest survivor. And I am also a woman who has had to cut her mother off. My mother passed February of last year. We didn't speak for 2 years prior to her passing for various reasons that I choose not to get into. And we didn't start back speaking until probably about a few months prior to her dying. Probably because you saw it coming. But Monique, you got some explaining to do. But until then, remain unbothered. I mean, because the only thing you seem to care about is your man, your man, your man. That's it. Your man, your man, your man. But your son? You deserve whatever you get. And I mean, what the fuck ever you get. This is unacceptable and uncalled for. You and your son hadn't been speaking for I don't know how long, and you had the audacity to spit venom on his name. A child that came from your loins, your stomach, your body. You got more respect for your husband than your own damn child. And then you had the audacity to bring your funky black ass online and talk about how black women mistreat black men because of what our mothers and grandmothers had to say about black men. My mother and grandmother used to coddle black men my mother and grandmother coddled black men so much that when the family the males in my family assaulted me, my mother and grandmother protected them. And it's been like that for generations upon generations, and I keep hearing these stories back to back to back. See, you done got it totally fucked up with me. To hell with you and your fat black ass and your funky ass daddy that you call a man. You need to sit on a hot one, bitch. Now, I said what I said and I stand on it. But remain unbothered. Just like your damn son is with you. Dumbass.
I understand the relationship now a little bit better, but I just don't. I think that moving forward, it probably would be better if Monique was the one that did most of the talking. Sydney seems to be a little long-winded, and I don't know if that is going to push people away from Monique.
I'm starting to see this thing a little different kind of ways. I'm not even sure if Monique wanted to respond. She just had to accompany Sydney, who wanted to respond. Because with this whole response, Sydney needs to shut the fuck up. Right? Let's keep it real, right? I'm saying, especially with this. Now, if you're doing something else, cutting the grass, managing the bills or something, do that. This is not your business. You don't call the guy son. You say he got a father. And then for you to come on here and not really truly let her talk. You doing all the talking. We ain't talking about your damn kids, right? We ain't talking about your kids. And then you want to say, well, you know, he's full of shit because his mother done a lot for him. Remember 3 years ago, she brought all your kids baby stuff.
This is bad.
You ain't mentioned nothing beyond the 3 years where she reached out to try to salvage the relationship between her and her son. And maybe I'm starting to think because he don't want it.
Wait a minute. You're the first person I hear this all day. That said this all day. You feel that Sydney doesn't want Monique to have a relationship with her son?
I'm starting to feel that way because I think this, right? Now if we really started thinking about it, he keep calling him daddy, right? Because that's what Monique called him.
Right.
They saying that he typically call him uncle, which make you think out, why is okay? The kid got his own father. Maybe Sydney was a friend of theirs when they had a baby, and then
right.
in. That's confusing too. Now you got this guy you call uncle that you might see down at the corner, but now he up in mama's bedroom. A problem, and you the oldest one. You know what I'm saying? You going through this, and Sydney ain't trying to lay claim on him because anything he do with him, he got to deal with the father, right? Sydney is all about the power control to me. And I think all this was Sydney's idea to come back to respond because the son, when he said that, got underneath his skin because the kid kept saying daddy. Sydney didn't like that. You know, I mean, and basically the kid feel like, yeah, you may not be capable to love your kids or raise kids, but you damn so capable of not loving a kid, but loving daddy.
Now, while this was all going on and we were all distracted by like Shalom's video, we missed a big part of the story because apparently Sydney sent copies of text messages that were allegedly sent to him to news outlets like Undisputed and the Young Turks saying that the Illuminati had sent death threats to Monique. In the threatening messages, the Illumi said, "Ready to be straightforward, Mo? Just apologize." And then apparently the phone rang and the person that was like texting them was like, "You might want to get that." And then they were like, "Just letting you know, the Illumi has eyes." To which Sydney and Monique responded, "Good looking out and thank you for letting me know. Black power fists, strong emojis." So now, after all of this happens, Sydney contacts several news stations and tells them that when him and Monique answered the phone, the person on the other line, who was a representative of the Illuminati, said, "I'm coming over to kill you tonight." Yes, people, Sydney claims that the Illuminati directly contacted them to let them know that they're gonna murk them. Oh my goodness, how did we go from Club Shay Shay to like the Illuminati calling you to tell you they gonna get you? Look, I don't even know how to take this. I mean, I hope it's not real, but if it is real, I really hope that like Monique is safe. But I gotta tell you, from the time that Monique sat down on that couch on Club Shay Shay, things are starting to get really, really strange.
Now, what we get ready to share right now is
go ahead. I think I know what you're
now. You go ahead.
To the degree where we're not going to stop being who we are and we received a death threat that we were supposed to apologize. We need to apologize. Apologize to who? We didn't quite find out. We didn't quite find out who they wanted us to do to that full. But listen, we're going to be authentic to ourselves. So we take the death threat seriously, but it's so serious that we have to further endure. This time that we have here, we're in disputes with Oprah, Tyler, CBS. Why? Because we can't understand why a company such as CBS, how we can say you incrementally over 5 years made a one-time payment of $65 million.
Come on now. So we wanted to come on and share that with y'all today. And I'm not laughing at that, but it makes me chuckle to say that someone, whoever it is, and y'all have been hearing what we've been saying, but someone or somebody's will send a death threat all because this little fat black girl and her husband telling the truth.
Well, anyways, Dr. Rashad from Indisputable says that they did a check and they can verify that it was an actual text chain. But I mean, that doesn't mean that the phone call came from the Illuminati. It just means that the call came in from another phone. Which begs a couple of questions, and these are real questions. 1, do you think that the Illumi, which is short for Illuminati, really called Sydney and Monique to threaten them? Is Monique in danger? Or 2, do you think that this was just a bunch of trolls playing around on the phone and it was your source for celebrity news? Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.